Greetings everyone, it's me here again to do a follow-up video on the series that I said I was going to do. It's Sunday, the 22nd of February 2026. Trust that you are well and that you are enjoying your weekend. But for now, let us have a look at what I've been dealing with in recent times. My previous video was talking about this epic story concerning this people in the Bible. And I mentioned specifically Deuteronomy 28. But let me start off by saying that today the big hype and fuss and focus is on the Epstein files, the release of those files and what is emerging from it. And it's really shocking information. But this issue about human trafficking, capturing people, abducting people, and involving them in human trafficking is an age-old situation. And we're just becoming aware of it more now because of the Epstein files and that island, the Epstein Island, where such a lot of cruelty and atrocities have taken place. Human trafficking is the biggest business in a sense. Gives the highest profits. It's even said to give higher profits than the drug trade, illegal drug trafficking. And that already is so lucrative for the people involved in that. But where does this connect to what I was saying about the Bible? Yes. Let me go to Deuteronomy 28 and just explain to you that this did happen, although it was in the Bible. In Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, it says here, and this is Old English, this is from the King James Version, "And the Lord shall bring thee," that's referring to these people, "into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto you. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Now, if we just analyze that, it's a prophecy being made about this Hebrew people, that it says there again into Egypt. So this is referring to the fact that Moses had brought these people out of Egypt from slavery and bondage into the promised land. But this prophecy here is post that version in Genesis where it says again. But this time, as I mentioned in the previous video, Egypt is a symbolic term in the Bible that refers to hardship, slavery, etc. So in this sense, it's not necessarily North Africa, the North African version of Egypt that we all know. This is symbolic about a place where they'll be taken again for a second time into slavery, and it says, "Thou shalt see it no more again." So they will not see their land again. And that was fulfilled, as I mentioned in the previous video, that these people were scattered after the Roman general Titus took over Palestine and destroyed the city of Jerusalem and the temple in AD 70. So they would not see it again. So that prophecy has been fulfilled because they were scattered according to the prophets of the Old Testament, as I mentioned. And there, this is referring to Egypt. "Ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen." Now, they're taken to a different country, not necessarily North Africa, Egypt, but a different country, and they'll be taken away in ships. And like I mentioned to you in the previous video, that this is only fitting one group of people in the world. Other people who claim this position or usurp this position have not been carried away in ships to be used as bondmen and bondwomen, which is just meaning that they will be slaves. And this last part of the scripture says here that, and no man shall buy you. And that just refers to the fact that when they're sold and they're owned as property by their slave owners, there'll be nobody that will want to buy them out of their slavery. You need to pay money. And this brings to mind that movie. So this did happen, and it's even depicted in movies. If you have not seen the movie 12 Years a Slave, and there's also a very good one called Roots. But in 12 Years a Slave, after 12 years, this man who was captured, abducted, and made a slave, he wasn't actually brought over the ocean like the others. He was captured and abducted and made a slave, and he was bought over by a very rich man. There was money paid for him so that he could be freed again. So there is evidence of this story of slavery. If you research it, you'll find out that there's history. The history books record it. There's in the archives, there's photos, there's drawings, there's reports, there's even copies of contracts and records of sales and property that indicates that it was a lucrative business for the slave owners. In other words, these people became property. They were legal tender. And unfortunately for them, there was a lot of atrocities and cruelties perpetrated on them. Just to mind, I can give a whole list of things like lynching and working for hours without any reward or anything for hours from sunrise to sunset, with bleeding hands, picking cotton on the fields. And families were intentionally or purposefully separated, parents from children, wives from husbands, and that's why I call them atrocities. And there's other atrocities that I don't think it's advisable to mention here, but it's too terrible to actually mention here. I'd have to do a separate version to and for those people who could stomach it, to hear what human beings are capable of doing to others. So it was so insidious and so far-reaching that the effects of those centuries, we still see evidence, and we still see experience. We still experience the effects of those centuries today. You don't have to search very hard; you'll see all the effects of it. Perhaps I should elaborate on it at another time. But be that as it may, this is what I wanted to share with you today, and I would hope that you are motivated to find out a bit more. There's a lot of, as I said, movies, for instance, as well as books on social media. There are sites and there's videos that people do on topics that relate to this. I think it's very advisable and appropriate that people need to get to know about this information. Enjoy your weekend further.